Moving on to question number 4. This question says, hey, Katie, I'm almost 28 years old and have been struggling with anorexia for 6 years and eating disorder behaviors for more than half my life. I am continuously going back and forth between recovery and relapse. It's really common. I'm so sick of it. I feel too old to be dealing with an eating disorder. I'm embarrassed. I'm also at the age where I want to start thinking about having kids, and I feel like my eating disorder is severely holding me back from that. I want to have kids, but I think gaining weight with pregnancy will be triggering, and I don't want to put my child in danger. It can be. We'll talk about this. I am also a grade 6 teacher at an all-girls school. I feel like such a bad influence on these girls. I feel so guilty for that. I feel like they're able to see me losing weight. You'd think that this responsibility of being an influence on those girls would stop me engaging in these behaviors, but I can't stop. I have no idea what to do. I feel so stuck. I am regularly seeing a psychologist, a GP, meaning general practitioner, doctor, and dietitian. I feel so bad for them because they're always repeating the same thing. They probably think I don't listen to them or value them. I'm ready to give up. Don't give up. Hang in there. Let's talk about this. Okay. So we're having a hard time and we have some support. However, I don't think you're getting enough support. And I don't mean that like seeing these 3 people, you have a great support system, but the fact that you don't feel like you're getting any better means that we either need to see our psychologist more often, or maybe we need to go into a treatment center. And I don't say that to scare you or, I don't know, be rude or hurtful. You need more help than you're receiving right now. And there's no shame in that. When my dad died, I went to therapy twice a week for a long time. And some of my friends were like, oh my God, you're going twice a week? And I was like, yeah, it's not good. I don't feel good. I'm having a hard time. Thank God for Pepperdine. It was free. Oh my God. But needless to say, you need more support, and getting into a treatment center could be that next best step. Now, I know, okay, it's October. So we're in the midst of the schools, it's school's in session and, we won't have another break. Maybe around the holidays, we could go into treatment for a little bit. I wish it was coming up on summer because then we could really, you could take that time. If that's the easiest for you, then we just need to hang on until then. Maybe that's something we try to do, or maybe we try to go in during the holiday season because that can be a little bit easier on, for your school schedule. But that's the base of this, is that we're going to need more support to get you out of this. That's why you feel like you're in this hamster wheel where they tell you the same thing and you feel like you're not getting better and you just feel like you're stuck and you're sick of it. It's because we just need more support. We can't do it all on our own. Like I was saying previously, like I've had tons of patients who've been in treatment, 10, 15 times. People who struggle with the eating disorder, for 20, 30 years, there's no judgment on the amount of time or the number of times you have to go into treatment, but we do need to get you that support until you feel ready to make that change. Because I've had questions in the past about like, when it comes to recovering from my eating disorder, do I have to feel ready to make that change? And the truth is no. I don't think, I guess like 90% of my patients have never felt like they're ready to change. They just know they don't like where they're at now. And that's all that you need. That's the only prerequisite when it comes to looking for recovery, is that I don't like where I am now. And we need to remember that day in and day out when we're trying to make different choices. And so I might encourage you to start doing some more homework or asking for more homework in between your sessions with your psychologist. I don't know how often you see them, but I hope it's every week. And I really think that because you said regularly, I'd hope that's every week. We're going to need a little bit more homework in between. We're going to need more support, and we're going to need to remember, hey, I don't like how things are, so I'm going to have to act differently. I'm going to have to try harder. I'm going to have to do this even though I don't want to. And to get back to your part of the question where you said that, you feel like you're a bad influence on your girls, you're a grade 6 teacher and you don't want to be a bad influence and you feel guilty. I wish that was enough to make us recover, to make us feel like, oh, I'm finally going to do it this time. I guess maybe for certain people, this kind of works for a short period of time, but for most of my patients, an outside issue, like outside of ourselves, isn't enough motivation for us to make the internal change that we need to. And so even though you don't want to be a bad influence for these girls, you're like, dude, you don't want what I'm dealing with. This is horrible and I hate it. That's never going to be enough for us to actually make the change, because our eating disorder serves a purpose. It's there for a reason in our life. And just having girls around us that we don't want to influence poorly isn't enough for us to not engage with it, because it still exists for a reason. And so my work for you is to actually figure out why your eating disorder is there. You said you've been struggling with it for 6 years and for, more than half your life having eating disorder behaviors. Why? What happened? More than half your life, 14, 13-ish. How old were you? What happened? Why do we do this? I'm not saying it in a judgmental way. I'm saying it in a be curious type of way. Today's episode is sponsored by Blissy. I wish I knew about this sooner. I had no idea a pillowcase could actually help with your hair and skin, but Blissy Silk Pillowcase is a game changer. Since I started using it, I've noticed that my hair feels smoother, frizz-free, and my curls stay in place overnight. My skin, softer and more hydrated, and yes, it even feels like it's helping reduce fine lines over time. Unlike satin, which is rough and synthetic, Blissy's naturally hydrating silk is dermatologist tested, hypoallergenic, antibacterial, and breathable, so no more sweaty nights. They've sold over 3 million pillowcases. They come in more than 99 colors and even have a new Wicked and Harry Potter line. Plus, they're now available at Target. They've been featured in Vogue, Oprah Daily, and Good Morning America, and it's no wonder they were voted Best Gift of the Year for 2024. Because you're a listener, Blissy is offering 60 nights risk-free, plus an additional 30% off when you shop at blissy.com/AskKatiePod. That's BLISSY.com/AskKatiePod and use code AskKatiePod to get your extra 30% off. Your skin and hair will thank you. I'm not saying it in a judgmental way. I'm saying it in a be curious type of way. What caused it? Is it a trauma? Did something happen? Do we need to talk about that with our psychologist? Is it our life felt really out of control? Maybe we had a parent who was an addict, and so we tried to control ourselves. That's the only thing we can control. Where did it come from? What's its purpose? Let's figure out what that is, because through that, figuring out the why, that's how we can find our way out. And be patient with yourself. Recovery is hard. Like I said, we kind of, recovery and relapse is part of the process. There's not a person in this world who has not tried and failed when starting their recovery process. There's no one that tried it once and is recovered forever. I just decided to stop doing this. No, that's not how it works. Well, people who do that usually crops up in another way. Oh, I stopped using my eating disorder behavior. Oh my God, my self-injury is increased, right? So let's figure out the why behind that, because that will give you your path out. It's almost like the exit off the freeway that you're on. It will highlight that so you can take that exit. Let's look at that and work on that, because don't give up. We can get you out of this. We just have to figure out why it exists in the first place. Okay. Moving on to question number 5. It says,